Real talk, real people, relevant conversations. The I Am Kiana Skills podcast is dedicated to real conversations about issues, emotions, and experiences that affects the lives of everyday people.
I know that's right.
Welcome to the I Am Kiana Skills podcast. Welcome to the I Am Kiana Skills podcast, episode 19, sponsored by the Closet Experience Boutique and Delightful Cakes and Catering. I'm your host, Kiana Skills, and I have the influential Aquanet Cooper with me today, co-hosting.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey. Today we are talking about weed. Yep, you heard me right. I said weed. We may be referring to that loud, as the youngins say, or that old school chronic that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre refer to when they say they want that chronic and nothing but the chronic. You never know which direction we are maneuvering in when you tune in, but you must admit, if you stay until the end, we stay dropping gems and tools for you to use to be successful. Trust me, this episode will be no different. In yards all over the world, there comes a time each year when the temperatures turn from chilly to warm and millions of tiny yellow flowers bloom. While children love the arrival of these colorful petals, many adults, especially those who take care of the lawns, grimace at their appearance. What are we talking about? Duh! Dandelions! Of course! Sorry to disappoint you. I know you thought otherwise. But you know, it's still going to be a dope episode. No pun intended. Crack myself up because I did say weed at the beginning, and y'all know I meant weeds. I just had to lure y'all on in. But like I said, it's going to be a dope episode, so stay tuned. Hello, Aquanet. How you doing today?
Doing great. How are you, Kiana?
I am doing lovely. Let's jump right into this episode and see if we can help listener land with this love-hate relationship with dandelions and see if we can clear their minds from the distractions of weeds and seeds to grow wildly all around them. You up for the challenge, Aquanet?
Oh, yes, of course. Let's do it.
Great. Let's do this. A yard full of golden dandelions in bloom can be a gorgeous sight. Y'all picture that. Y'all see that? Gorgeous sight. Eventually, all those beautiful flowers eventually turn to white globes of exposed seeds that are often called puffballs. Dandelions grow so successfully because those puffballs disperse their seeds over long distances in stiff breeze. Some dandelions don't need to wait for their wind. Y'all hear that? Sometimes they don't need to wait for their wind. As dandelions turn to seed, children everywhere rush to pick them so they can close their eyes, make a wish, and blow the seeds into the air. Ooh, can y'all imagine that? To a child, a dandelion is a magical thing. It is one of the first plants we learn to recognize. Is that one of the first plants you learned to recognize?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. That bright yellow flower makes cheerful bouquets, necklaces, and crowns. The fluffy white seeds heads become wishes when we squeeze our eyes shut and blow. I can recall being in the first grade picking a handful of dandelions during the entire time my class was in recess to give to my teacher once we returned to the classroom. I was filled with excitement, y'all, as my class was headed back into the school building because I was eagerly awaiting to give that bouquet of flowers I had picked for my teacher. I proceeded to hand those beautiful bright yellow flowers to my teacher, and to my surprise, y'all, she said, Kiana, those are weeds, honey. Throw them in the trash, please, and go back to your seat. Yo, I had to throw out those beautiful flowers I spent my entire recess picking for her because they were weeds.
Wow.
Her actions left me baffled, in a state of confusion, and made me feel as if I had done a terrible deed. Whoo, y'all, she hurt my little feelings to the core. Baby, hurt them. Something awful. I'm not even sure if she realized the agony that she caused me. Y'all, it was bad. Now that I think about it, This is why I do not like flowers that much to this day.
What?
My husband and my son, y'all, they surprise me with flowers all the time. And I do not even get excited. You know, most women get excited. Like, ooh, yeah, he got me some flowers. No, not me, child. Don't get me wrong. I'm appreciative of the thought and the gesture, but they just don't do it for me. Besides looking pretty for a few days, they are useless, in my opinion. And not to mention, they require maintenance. Woo, child, honey. Find somebody else to water them plants. I ain't got time to water them flowers. LOL, y'all. This is just might be uncovering some childhood trauma for me
boy.
at the hands of my elementary school teacher. I never thought about that this could be my root cause of not liking the beauty that flowers exude and not truly understanding that they are given as a representation to show appreciation and honor to someone. The action of that teacher scarred me from that moment going forward. Come to think about it, for my wedding, I did have flowers, but again, I was not head over heels about picking them out. I just wasn't head over heels about them. I wasn't oohing and ahhing like most brides when it came down to which ones that I actually wanted for my big day. Just over here shaking my head, y'all. Shaking my head at this revelation. Girlfriend, you might have to give me therapy today. Because this flashback just got real for me.
Okay. Let me sit up straight this time.
Yeah, I might need some therapy, girl. What would the world of a child be like, Aquanet, without the dandelion? This is craziness. She scarred me for life. I am sure most of our listeners can relate to picking dandelions and making a wish by blowing the dandelion and watching the seeds from them blow into the air. The generations of today will never understand the significance of playing outdoors and the fun we had as children with the dandelion. And just playing outdoors, period. Especially this day of technology where everything is a virtual world of so-called fun. Aquanet, do you have any memories from childhood in regards to the dandelion?
Oh, yeah, of course. Dandelions, like you say, I didn't know they were a weed till I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And that was because my grandmother told me that they were a weed. And, you know, those are pretty, baby, but we don't keep those. Those are weeds. I was like, what? But it's a flower. No, it's a weed. And so, you know, I used to pick them just like everybody else, that every other little kid did, because we were outdoors back then. So, yeah, I remember the dandelions very vividly.
And they told us they was weeds, right? I'm about to drop a little gem. Let me see if I can drop this little gem. The definition of a weed is any plant that grows where it is not supposed to be growing.
Oh.
Y'all catch that T?
Say it again.
The definition of a weed is any plant that grows where it is not supposed to be growing. A rose bush growing in a field of clover would be a weed, and a lettuce growing in turnips would be a weed. But if the rose were to be in a rose garden or the lettuce in a field of lettuce, it would not be. If the dandelion were growing in a patch of dandelions, it would be right at home. But in a lawn, it looks different. It is out of place and considered what? A weed. My. Did y'all catch that breakdown? I just broke that dandelion debate right on down and made it make sense in under 3 minutes. God darn it, that girl is good. Pat myself on the back. Told y'all I'd be dropping gems over here. So that changed your whole perspective. If we wouldn't be calling it a weed if it was growing in that whole field or just with dandelions.
Dandelions, right. Okay. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, that was a gem for me. That was a gem for me.
Over here, I told y'all. This right here, when I'm creating these episodes, I go into my mind and I dig deep to see what I can give y'all. Because like we said before in some other episodes, it's about perspective. I'm here to see if we can look at things from a different perspective. So all this stuff that our parents, teachers, grandparents told us that they weeds because they looked at them just in the lawn.
Right, yeah.
That's the only time they really gave those dandelions any thought. is what it is. I'm not mad at.
Mm-hmm.
Still kind of mad at my teacher though. But okay, I'm gonna get over it. I told you I might need therapy, but I'm gonna get over it though. That memory right there.
Yeah.
Now I'm old. I'm gonna just wrangle about a neck. No,
Please don't do that. No.
Let me get back on task. Now that I have your attention, let's talk about how to clear your mind of the distracting weeds that seem to sprout up and take space in your life rent free. Some of y'all are letting weeds, aka people, just show up uninvited and take over your garden, aka your personal space, leaving your plot of land, aka your life, a tangled hot mess.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I guess you can call that an entanglement.
Okay.
Ooh, geez Louise. We better leave those entanglements to Jada and August Alsina. I think we better leave them over there.
Yeah.
Oh, what a tangled web some humans weave, all from being distracted.
Yeah.
People are out here pulling weeds from their physical gardens, but seem to forget about pulling the weeds that are growing from their minds, that are just in their minds growing. Stay with me for a moment. We're about to go to the garden section of the mind and plant something valuable.
Okay.
Think of the mind as a garden. Rather than roses or vegetables in the mind, we plant ideas that are to be manifested into our dreams that eventually evolve into reality.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe the idea you plant is to eat healthier more or have a better relationship with your family and friends. If you are creative or entrepreneur, your plant may be a business that will change the world one day, that will add value for your customers. It could possibly pull you from that rat race of your current 9 to 5 and build your legacy. Or at least buy you that dream car or that dream home you always talk about.
Yes.
Just like you water, feed, and prune delicate flower or a fruit vine, you must cultivate your idea with care.
That's right. Yeah.
But eventually, weeds will begin to appear and become annoying and problematic after a while. Y'all didn't hear me, but y'all better keep listening. These are all the thoughts that distract you from your goals. I need to build a website. I need to improve my Instagram.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. Keep going. All of them.
What is on Tubi? No, I think I should see what's on Netflix instead. This Facebook ad just gave me a new idea. I should be doing that one instead. Listen to land, how many weeds are growing around your idea right now? Be honest. Can you even see what you originally planted? Akonette, do you currently have or have you ever had weeds growing around your idea that were getting out of hand?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes. There's been several times I can have an idea and I just have to stay on track. Because for me, I definitely want to keep my business, cakes, cupcakes, and catering. But it's so easy to be like, but I do pies too. And, you know, people will call, well, do you do cheesecake? Yep, I do cheesecake too. Well, you know, I need 40 cookies for this. Can you do, I can do cookies, but do I want to put all of that on my website? No, because it's just me. It's a lot to do. So I think it can become a distraction. It's a good idea.
Right.
But I need to stay focused with what I know is going to work. And maybe once I actually get a staff of people, then I can incorporate the others. So, yeah.
So how long did it take you to dig through those distractions to see what you originally planted?
So it's an ongoing process. Let me just be very transparent. It's an ongoing process because, again, there are still customers that will call and ask, do you do X, Y, and Z? And really, I do it, but I have to say we're actually focusing on A, B, and C. if that makes any sense. So, but I literally just had to talk myself off of that because, you get excited that people know who you are and what you do. And you just want to please everybody because, that means money.
Right.
So, but all money isn't good money and all money isn't money that I'm ready for right now. And that's what I have to keep telling myself when I do have customers that ask for things that I know how to do. But the problem is if I do an exception for them, then they're going to pass. No, she does this too. It's just not on her website.
Yep.
So I have to stay focused just because that's just something that has got to happen for now until the rest of the other business is ready to grow. So,
and that's understandable.
And I literally just did this.
The good thing is, I know in one episode we talked about the hokey pokey. At least you're not out here doing hokey pokey.
No.
You're staying focused.
And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Money talks.
Yeah, I know, because we still all have bills and lifestyles that we want.
This is true. This is true.
When your mental garden is overrun with weeds to the point that it's affecting your success and satisfaction, it's time to put in some labor, y'all. People, you might even need to go down to Home Depot or Lowe's to get you some of those thick, large, heavy-duty contractor trash bags and some commercial-grade lawn and garden fertilizer to tame all of those unnecessary weeds that are growing in your mental garden. Y'all better stay with us on this episode because we're going to teach you a little something today. While you're there, I would suggest that you get you some turf builder, some grass seeds to energize and speed up the process of getting your mental garden back to tip-top shape.
Yeah.
Y'all don't hear me though. I'm about to share with you some steps that will help you get your garden back to a fruitful place. Baby, I'm going to have the people out here looking like that good old Publix fruit and vegetable by the end of this episode. Ooh, y'all know how I do. I'm going to get them in shape, baby. Just call me the weed digger upper.
Okay, weed digger upper. Gotcha.
Just call me that by the end of this episode. I need you to get your cultivators, your shovels, your hand pruners, your weeders, your garden hose, and your gloves ready, baby, because we have work to do on ourselves before we turn ourselves into Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay, I remember that movie.
Remember that girl?
Used to be my favorite.
Yes, see, we're about the same age bracket. See, I'm aging myself. Just Google Little Shop of Horrors if you have no clue what I'm referring to.
I just did that 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
More. Oh,
I used to know the whole thing. Yeah.
Yes. First, you will need to identify your seed. Begin with the end in mind. What do you want to plant? What is your most important personal or professional goal right now? What would change everything if you accomplished it? This is your seed. Once you know what it is, do not let it go. It can help to write it down so you have a physical reminder to what to look for every day. Like you're going to look at that, once you know that vision that you wrote down.
That's right.
It's going to help you to keep your focus. It's going to keep you focused on those goals that you're trying to achieve. You know the deal. Write the vision. Make it plain.
Yes.
This allows you to plan and plant the most efficient course to your goal setting. Doing this will help you spot potential hazards or roadblocks, aka distractions, before they impact you. I can recall reading a magazine article one time that stated that a data finding discovered that about 42% of people are likely to achieve written goals than those goals that are not written.
This is true. Yeah.
I can see why this would be the case. Think about it. Writing the vision is an immediate brain to hand connection, y'all, that will have you more motivated to achieve your goals because you are reading the game plan, and in turn it is allowing you to envision what that plan will look like for you one day when it comes to pass.
This is true.
My. So Aquanette, are you a write the vision to make the vision plain type person?
Yes, I am.
Okay, now how do you go about doing that?
1000%. As you already know, I'm very self-reflective. So in order for me to be self-reflective, it takes an amount of, structure. And so with the structure, one of the practices is to write everything down. So I don't just usually write the vision. I'm a list person, just in general. So anything that I have to do for the day, if I don't write it down, it pretty much don't get done.
So you write the list and then you check it off as it gets done?
Yep.
Okay.
I either check it off or I cross it off, either one. So, but that's something that you have to develop. Everybody's not like that. And it was instilled in me as a young person. So it just never left. I've been that way since I was probably in high school. And there's been several times that I have, you get busy. And you just don't remember to write something down, or, it's easy to forget if you don't write it down, because like you say, it's literally it's your brain remembering that you wrote something down, but it connects. So yeah, I'm definitely a write the vision person or a list person. And yeah, 9 times out of 10, if I write it down, it'll get crossed off that day. And if I don't know what I'm doing for the day.
It's funny because in my whole life, just in general, I find myself, I don't always write things down. I kind of say that in my head.
I used to be that way, and then it got to be too much. It was too many things that needed to be done in my life.
But I know that I will speak something like this podcast, all the business that I have started. It all started with the thought in my head, and I would just process those ideas and step them out of my head. But I would never put them on paper. I'm not gonna say never put them on paper, because I eventually did. But I was the type to just really always process stuff, and I still do that to this day. I process a lot of stuff in my head, and then once I put it on paper, that's when I know, oh, she about to do that thing.
And that's usually the way it's supposed to work. You do have to create the vision first before you write it.
Right.
So, and then that's another part of the execution that we talked about in another episode. So, yeah.
But I just found myself, I just feel like sometimes I work backwards. So sometimes I don't write them down at all. Sometimes it's still in my head, but I still have executed.
Right,
But
yeah.
it's just, I don't know. So when I was asking you that question, it made me think about myself and was like, what kind of person am I? Do I write it down? In a sense I do, but I don't. I don't know. I think being the creative that I am, I be all over the place. I'm just going to be honest. I just be all over the place.
Well, and that's normal though, because some of us are list people whenever we're doing things or whenever we are creative. And then some of us we just pull things, I don't want to say from the air, but you just pull different things from different areas from inspiration. And so it's very normal. So yeah.
Yeah, I just give that key to keep the list, honey. Just tell me where I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to. I'm finna start adding you. Just tell me where I'm supposed to be.
Listen.
Tell me what's on the list.
Listen.
Then I ain't got to figure it out. Just let me know. Just shoot me a text.
Listen, look, I'm trying to get some assistance too, so I feel you.
Let's get back to it. Take your inventory of your garden. Oftentimes, we are so lost in the weeds, y'all, that we forget how to tend to our garden in the first place.
Yes.
Y'all, we just out here lost sometimes.
Distracted.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
One way to reset is by observing how you're managing your time. Ooh, I just stepped on some toes.
Yep.
For an entire week, set a timer or go off every hour. When that timer goes off every hour, see what's going on in your life. What did you achieve? When that alarm calls off and it pauses, guess what it's going to do?
Remind
it's
you.
It's going to remind you to make you have to do that self-reflection on what did you get done.
That's right. Yeah.
After the week is over, look at your list and analyze every line. Which activities directly contribute to the growth of your plants? Which ones had nothing to do with it at all?
Yeah.
This will seem tedious, y'all, at first. Because it's a lot.
It is tedious. Yeah, it is. It's tedious.
With it, but I tried it. Because, if I'm going to give you some gems, I'm going to try them too. Now, I'm not going to lie. It's going to be very tedious. But it is so worth it in the long run on your PSV. you know, your plant something valuable journey, people.
Okay, say that again. I like that.
PSV, your plant something valuable.
I'm gonna
journey.
use that one. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. So, do you use time management stress like you said you do? Basically, your checklist.
Yeah, I do a checklist. The other thing is I also check in with myself.
Okay, come on, check in with yourself.
So, and again, self-reflective.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, and I'm not on a schedule. I don't want people to think I'm just like out here like that. But every once in a while, when I can tell I'm starting to get overwhelmed, I try to create a space for myself where I can just breathe and just kind of decompress on my own so I can refocus and realign with what I know is important for right now. Because my mind will get to thinking so far ahead in the future, I haven't really resolved or really finished what I was working on. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I like to finish what I start, but for some reason, it seems like the bigger this business grows, there's more. But I have to continue to work on and remember, well, take care of the present, be in the present, and the future will be handled when you take care of the present.
Right. We made me think about something right there. Too much is given, much is required.
It is. It is. So yeah, those are things that is always a work in progress. And like I said, I don't keep myself on a time schedule, but I will say at least once a month, I do like take a whole inventory of the good, bad, the indifferent, because I actually keep a calendar, like a physical calendar. And I just look at it like, okay, what could I have done better this month? What would have been better for me personally this month? So those are things that I do. Yeah.
Yes. So you pruning your garden.
Constantly.
Yep. You have to. So the people need to know they need to prune their garden. Everything from your inventory that has nothing to do with achieving your ideal outcome is a weed. So if possible, pull it out. This can mean anything from outsourcing or automating a task or even eliminating it entirely.
Yeah, this is true.
If it's not working, get rid of it. Yeah, find something that's going to replace it, but get rid of that something in your life that's not working.
And you know what that reminds me of? That actually reminds me of how we treat, clothes we're giving away to the Goodwill. Some people, they like to hold on to just everything. And then some of us are like, I haven't even touched this in three months, 4 months. I'm not going to use it. But there's always another set of people. I mean, but you never know. You just might need it.
That's me.
And see, I'm definitely not that person. But sometimes I can get very, very busy. And in fact, just with so much that happened with me last year, I was actually going through some cleaning. Wasn't really trying to. But I said, I never really unpacked. I found so many different things that I said, I forgot I even had this.
Oh, wow.
And you know how you can keep something and you just move it from place to place to place. And I said, what is in this box? Things, I threw the whole box away. Oh, wow. So, yeah, that's what that reminds me of. We got to get rid of what we're not using, what does not benefit our goal.
Yep, because the goal is to stop devoting energy to things that distract you from your main idea.
Yes.
My spirit, y'all, is leading me to tell y'all that this includes pruning family and friends.
Ooh, I quiver. Yes.
I know that seems harsh, but sometimes you must love people from a distance or on down the road, as my Uncle Lord would always tell me from time to time.
Yeah.
Not everyone is meant to get on the plane with you. Let me put it to you like this. Southwest, American, United, Delta, JetBlue, heck, even Soul Plane have weight limits for baggage to avoid situations where baggage or customers cannot be taken on a flight due to the weight limitation. Somebody say it with me. It's a distraction.
It's a distraction.
Thank you. Yes, it's a distraction, y'all. Keeping the plane from leaving the tarmac and getting the passengers on board safely to their destination. So, if it is not adding to the beautification of your garden, it must go inside one of those You know those big bags we talked about? Those contractors bags?
Oh, yeah.
Those big garbage bags?
Mm-hmm.
I told you would need, as you declutter your life, to make it presentable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I told y'all to go get them bags. Y'all gonna need them, baby.
Get your
bags.
bags.
Got a lot to unpack.
This is true.
Mm-hmm. During your pruning season, what are a few things that ended up in the garbage bag?
People. I'll just go ahead and say it. People. Some bad habits.
Oh, yeah.
Also, and that took a lot, because a habit is exactly what it is. It's some habits. I mean, I think that was mainly the bulk of it, because if I have bad habits, and again, I'm talking specifically for my business. If I have bad habits, then that means I'm almost ushering in bad business, if that's what that's the best way I can put it. And in order to do that, you really have to reevaluate the people you keep around you.
Yeah.
And so those are the two major things that I had to work on, because they all worked together.
Yeah, they do. Because what you were doing was you kept tending to your garden.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, worry about you and stop worrying about others until you get your life under new management and under a new productive regimen that has no signs. Yeah.
That's right.
You looking like an abandoned house because your life is in so much turmoil and chaos that no one can even recognize you from the clutter.
Not the abandoned house.
Abandoned house. Some of us out here looking like an abandoned house.
They are.
Blinds out tore up from
They
the floor
are.
up.
Yeah.
Grass is as tall as the house.
But we're always our own worst enemy, though. So, yeah, these are good jewels. Keep going. Keep going.
Now, y'all, this made me think about Mickey Howard's song "Love Under New Management."
Okay, Mickey. Yes, girl.
Y'all never know what's gonna come out. I told y'all this creative space and brain of mine, it be taking us somewhere.
That was my girl. Yes.
She said experience is a good teacher. Believe me when I tell you that if you live long enough, you will find out for yourself what that is all about. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Amen.
See, Mickey was singing about finding true love after being distracted. Y'all was wondering how I was going to tie that thing on in here. See, y'all got to stay with me. I be all over the place the way I be maneuvering this podcast. But I told y'all we're going to drop some gems. It's going to all tie itself together. See, she was distracted by experiencing heartbreak and learning from her past mistakes. She had to get mentally focused, and she had to prune out all the various unsuccessful relationships that she endured as she unpacked her self-worth, so she could recognize when the time was right to let that special someone into her life. See, while you're going through pruning season, or what we like to call cutoff season these days,
Yeah, that's the word. That's the phrase.
Sometimes have to be like Mickey and put that closed sign on your life, on that door of your life, until you have maintained and cultivated boundaries that will allow for a new season of greatness and favor, y'all, to usher in, to change the trajectory of your situation.
That's right.
See, when Mickey got herself together and realized that the man she thought loved her was just playing games with her heart, she decided that she was sick and tired of being sick and tired of not being loved properly. And she told herself, she said, "Self, I deserve better." And guess what she did? She cut that no good man from her garden of life right on out her life. She then waited patiently until true love found its way to her. Eventually, true love found her, and it captured her attention. Y'all see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
See, because she was no longer distracted by the fake and phony love that meant her no good. Her mind was free and clear, as well as her heart was cleansed. And she was ready to receive love under new management.
That's right.
Somebody sang it with me. I'm in love under new management. Management. Baby, the way they just looked at me in this studio, I tell y'all, we gonna have fun in here. I can sing. I'm just a little under the weather, but I can really sing, y'all. Yeah, I've been at karaoke nights. Y'all know I can sing my Betty Wright. Don't act like y'all don't hear me singing that Betty Wright. Play with it if you want to. Anyway, Aquanette, what you know about that Mickey Howard though?
You know, that was one of my favorite songs. Even as a kid, I didn't know what she was talking about. But of course, it's just like anything else. When we become adults and go through life, we hear a song from back in the day like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Okay. And you know, you feel every piece of it, every word, every phrase. And then you don't just feel it, but you also feel like the expression while she's singing it.
Right.
So you know that that's something she probably went through.
Yep. Y'all, it is impossible to prevent weeds from growing both in a literal garden and in your mind. So this is not a one and done solution.
Yeah.
It is a never ending process.
Continuous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Continuous. You have to ensure your idea is getting the attention it needs. You must constantly be mindful of distractions and how you can minimize them. By regularly evaluating how you spend your time and energy, you can better cultivate your mental garden by doing this. See, when you have too many thoughts, ideas, and distractions in your hand, it is impossible to focus on the things that genuinely you did, those things that you genuinely desire and want. By, you know what, by learning to pull those mental weeds out, you eventually become better. And what I mean by that is you eventually you set yourself up for success. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Now, before we run out of time, I want to address another type of distraction. Y'all still with me?
We're with you.
Okay. In a world filled with pinging notifications,
Oh my goodness.
endless to-do lists, and unexpected life events, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by a sea of distractions. They seem to pop up everywhere when you are trying to meet a work deadline, doing a crucial discussion with your spouse, or even as you're spending some quality time with your children on a peaceful Sunday afternoon. Distractions are not just annoying interruptions. They disrupt your workflow or personal life. They are a choice. Yes, a choice. You heard me right. Many of us unknowingly opt for distractions, allowing them to veer us away from our core focus. This implies that you have more control over your focus than you might think. See, in an ideal world, the office would be a zen zone where you could get your best work done. But the reality is it's more like a minefield of distractions. From chatty colleagues to email notifications, intrusions that lurk around every corner threaten to derail your productivity. Every time we get distracted, we pay a price in wasted time. My, let me say that again. For the people in the back. Every time we get distracted, we pay a price in wasted time.
Which affects our future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about that for a moment. How much time have you wasted on the company's dime or on your own time? To stay on task and get those things done that you know are essential to create an environment for yourself in which you can work without having distractions. I'm trying to see how to put this for you. You know, that pull you into multiple directions. You know, you gotta create these environments that are not doing that. And y'all, guess what? This includes taking measures like turning off your phone sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And other electronics, scheduling specific times to work and times for meeting quota at work.
But we should do that in life too, not just in work. Yeah. But we don't want to do that. We want to stay connected to social media. We want to stay connected to you know, whatever's going on in the world. It's almost like we kind of want the distraction.
Ooh, you done said something now. Sometimes I think we do. But then we also have become so familiar with being distracted.
Yeah, that's true.
To be honest, sometimes
that's true.
I be at work and I, may have a phone on and it might, and you looking and you like, let me answer this. It's a family member. We've had some traumatic experiences and sometimes like, I just feel like I have to answer it. And of course, and here comes, where somebody needs something that's taking me away from my focus. It's life. I have to answer because family does come first. But it does take you away. So I do understand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do. Not all situations you could turn your devices off, but sometimes we do need to learn to shut those devices off.
Just so we can decompress.
Oh, yes.
Even going to bed at night. I used to be one of those. I had to have the TV on, and I'll admit I still do. But I've noticed when I make an effort to not do it, I sleep so much better.
Oh yeah,
and longer.
I feel why? Because you're not being distracted by that TV.
By the noise, and it's not even on. I used to be like, well, it's not even, the volume's not even on, but it's the light.
Okay, I thought you had the volume. Because then you trying to see what's going to happen on this episode.
Oh, no. I don't do that, but I would just have to have it on. And that's when I said bad habits, those are bad habits. So if I'm not getting the proper amount of sleep, then I won't have enough time, enough energy and brain power to push through whatever orders I have the next day after working an 8-hour job. So, yeah.
It becomes difficult, and people don't think about it.
But something as minor as that can be an actual distraction. Or like you say, even taking phone calls, you feel like it's necessary, and it probably is necessary, but we have to think, could I have waited just maybe 2 more minutes? No. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm stuttering here with this because it's like, how can I, like I said, you see it on both hands. It's like, oh, you make it like I'm making reasons why I have to answer this phone. But if I would have just cut it off, it could have waited till later. But then on some of those phone calls, it couldn't.
Right.
Because I was notified that there was a death in it. So it just puts me down in a space, and I always want to look at my phone with anxiety. Do I need to answer? Anxiety. Now my mind is triggered with all these weeds growing. When I answer this phone, what is it going to be about? So now guess what? I'm distracted with all these weeds growing in my mind.
So you need to answer it so you can get rid of the weeds.
Right.
I understand.
That's how I'm feeling. But I don't quite know if that's truly productive for me. I know, so that's a whole nother. That's why I said, y'all, I'm
these weeds.
And I understand when we drop in these gems that sometimes they can be hard. But we have to push through them and see how we can make them work in our lives. I'm not just telling you this stuff and don't follow what I'm saying. I'm telling you this because I know what it feels like out there. I'm human just like you. And believe me, I deal with some of the same situations and scenarios that some of you deal with. Now, before we wrap this episode up, is there anything that you want to drop on the people today?
You know what? I just have one thing. Whenever we are pruning our gardens, whenever we are trying to plant something valuable, as you said earlier, I think it's important for us to know and learn, and if we haven't learned how to do it, just to prioritize. And that's something that I think we all struggle with, prioritization. So, but if we could just learn how to prioritize by importance and understand the difference between importance and urgency, because they're not the same. They work together, but they're not the same. And that's the only thing I'll give today.
Let's back. Let's break it down. Break it down a little. Just give us a brief synopsis of the difference in the two.
Well, if we look at it just literally, urgency means it needs to be done as quickly as possible.
That's what I want you to
Importance means it's important, but there may not be a time limit on it.
We can push it down and bump those urgency.
There you go.
That's what I want people to hear. Okay, yes, you got it. You got it. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, and you know it.
Keep going though. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that was it. So if we could just try to make sure, and like I said, some people don't know how to prioritize, and it's okay if you don't know how to do it. I mean, some people may feel like, well, that stuff that you teach kids, well, everybody may not have been taught that. And that's just a reality. So, yeah, we got to still find ways to improve ourselves. And I think that would be a good start. And once we learn how to prioritize what's important, then it'll help us to stay focused and eliminate the dandelions.
Yes, come on. Eliminate those dandelions. Yes, y'all. We was talking about weeds. I had y'all hooked when I said that chronic, that weed.
That gas.
Right. That thunder, that loud. But I'm glad y'all stick and stayed with us because we be dropping some amazing gems for you all. Mm-hmm. We crack up, we have a little light fun, but it's all about you and helping you to be your authentic self.
And you are not in this by yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you again, Aquanet, for being my co-host on the I Am Counter Skills podcast.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. Now let's get into this real talk. When you look out into a field of dandelions, you can either see 100 weeds or 100 wishes. Please do not let the debate of what the dandelion is and what it is not distract you from planting something valuable in your mental garden that will sustain you for life. Don't forget that you still have to maintain your garden from time to time because unwanted people and things will try to grow and uproot you from your goals. Keep those hand pruners and gloves ready. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to use them.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to I Am Kiana Scales on YouTube and Spotify. And follow I Am Kiana Scales on IG and TikTok. Also download the Streets 99.3 app. Ladies, are you looking for the hottest fashions and accessories? Well, look no further. The Closet Experience has you covered. The Closet Experience has been delighting women of all ages and sizes since 2009. Visit theclosetexperience.com and save 10% with code PODCAST. That's PODCAST. The Closet Experience Boutique, where fashion and budget meet. The Closet Experience Boutique, where fashion and budget meet. Looking for homemade taste with a touch of elegance? Visit justdelight.com and let Delightful Cakes and Catering cater your next event or special occasion. Delightful Cakes and Catering, where homemade taste meets elegant simplicity. Real talk, real people, relevant conversations. The I Am Kiana Scales podcast.